As a small business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
There's nothing more predictable in life than the unexpected. Lightning will always strike. Hail will fall on roofs. Fortunately, there's AAA. AAA has been helping members stay prepared for over 100 years. So when unusual storms, fallen debris, or sudden leaks happen, you'll be covered. Check, check, and check. Get the home and auto insurance you need by talking with a AAA insurance agent today. Visit AAA.com/insurance or stop by your local AAA store.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome. But with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another episode of He Said, She Said. And with me tonight is my fabulous co-host, Mickey Blowtorch. How you doing, Mickey?
Doing good, and I'm coming from you live from the ladies' locker room of the International Space Station. How are you tonight?
You wish you were.
Doesn't smell like I thought it would.
I bet it's different. I don't even want to go there. I'm doing okay. I've been painting up a storm, as you've probably seen.
Oh, the rocks.
Yeah, I've been painting a bunch of rocks. It's different, but it's fun.
How did this start? You just started randomly painting rocks, or?
No, apparently there's a bunch of groups out there that city by city. And the first time I ever saw one of these rocks, I was actually visiting my sister out in Alexandria, Virginia. And I saw this rock, and it just was out of place because it was in a field of white limestone rocks. And here's this dark rock. So I went to look at it, and it was painted, and it had a beautiful scene of the nighttime sky with the little stars and the silhouettes of pine trees. And then you turned it over, and it said, post on Alexandria VA Rocks on FB, on a Facebook group. And I was just like, oh, wow, people do this. And I didn't give it another thought until a few weeks ago, a young girl around here decided to start one for our city, and it took off. I mean, I think I was like the 40th person to join the group, and now the group has about 900 members. And so we just take rocks, and for me, I just came back from Home Depot and bought a bag of rocks.
Wait. So you went and bought a bag of rocks.
I did.
Things that occur naturally in nature.
Yeah. Yes, but these are flat rocks that I can paint on, as opposed to just rough, round. The round ones is kind of hard. So.
You don't have a river you could go down by and get some river rocks?
It is frowned upon. The river, the nearest river to me is very popular for rafting, floating down the river, inner tubes and such. And so they're very protective of the rocks that are there. And I wish I could just go down there and just dig up rocks.
Well, you did the right thing by going to Home Depot and purchasing.
I did. I look like a fool, too, because there I am with my little cart, and there's 2 bags of rocks, and the girl's, checking me out, and she notices that the bags are totally different. And she looks at me and says, "You realize these rocks are different from these other rocks. They're not going to match." Because she thought I was going to put them, like, on the ground cover.
You should have just told her you were going to go get stoned. Ah!
Yes, I should have. That opportunity missed. Damn it. Okay. So, but I explained to her what I was doing, and she thought that was kind of cool.
It is super cool. In fact, I've seen a couple of pictures on your Twitter account. I saw one that was kind of like, it looked like a stained glass. I don't know if that had any special meaning or not, but it looked cool.
Well, actually, that was like I don't want to say tribute because it's kind of like crappy, but it was inspired by a painter named Pete Mondrian, who, as I understand it, as I recall correctly from my art history class, and yes, I took art history. It's history and it's reputable, okay? He really abhorred nature. He worked outside for a very long time growing up and everything, and he just grew to hate being outside. So when he became an artist, when he started painting...
The nerd.
Yeah, just a little. So his reaction to painting was that he was never going to include nature in his painting, which is why all of the angles are right angles, which don't occur in nature per se, and he never includes the color green. So it's always primary colors, black and white, never green. And so it's something that a lot of people like to copy because it's very easy to replicate. And there are buildings, skyscrapers that have Mondrian murals on them, and so it's kind of easy to do. But so it was kind of fun. And yes, I'm keeping that rock. I decided to keep it because it was so pretty.
That particular one, though, I have recognized from somewhere. I know I've seen that particular the primary color scheme with the right angles, like you had painted on it. And I should have known that it, obviously came from or inspired by somebody that was famous and established, but it just didn't come to me. I never took art history, which I think is super cool, though. I'm a big fan of art. My mom was actually an artist, so I kind of grew up in the whole art thing.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's been 2 weeks, obviously, since our last podcast together. In Corona time, that's about 8 months. So
yeah.
You've just been painting rocks and getting them off, I guess?
Yeah, but, that is so you to say. Yeah, I've actually gotten off the rocks.
How many more rock jokes could I squeeze out tonight? We're two, I'm counting.
Yeah, you're a 2. Okay.
Other than that, we've actually got a really cool show tonight. We're doing, I guess, top 10 1980s music videos, and we're going by their influential impact upon society, as according to our minds. And we've both got an individual list that we're going to be comparing. And then later on, we're going to be talking about a competition that one of our Twitter friends has got going on for recipes under $10, and that's going to be pretty cool too. So, hence, I Want My MTV Dinner.
Yep.
Fantastic. Before we get started on the 80s stuff, was there anything you wanted to mention about the last 2 weeks that have gone by, aside from your lovely rocks?
No. Yes, maybe. I don't know. I'm still in a rock mind type of, I don't know. I decided I did manage to do another Corona Stewart hack.
Oh, a Corona Stewart hack. We need some
Yes,
Corona
a
Stewart
Corona
music.
Stewart
for
hack.
this.
We have several empty spots around here in the neighborhood, and in front of my house, there's an empty spot right at the edge of where the sidewalk starts. And I've been wanting to do something, and the rocks actually inspired me. And I got these really big river rocks they're very oval, and some that are round. And I'm painting the round ones yellow and the oval ones in pretty colors. And I'm making like a mosaic of flowers in that empty spot, because Lord knows I cannot get anything to grow there. No matter how hard I try, it's just impossible. Even the tree that was there died. So that was my hack to cover up the ground, and make it pretty. I'm painting rocks and actually putting them in there like kind of like an inlay.
Have you filled in the entire spot yet?
No, not yet. I just started painting the petals today. So hopefully nobody's going to get mad. I hope my HOA doesn't get pissed off.
Hey, screw them.
I know. I can't stand them. I cannot stand my HOA. I'm so trapped here. I can't wait to move to a non-HOA area.
I'm in an HOA too, but I think I'm more dominant than the rest of the HOA is. So some of the neighbors were actually referring to me as the Godfather the other day. I had no idea that they were nicknaming me that, and I couldn't figure it out. And then it just kind of dawned on me the other day. I was sitting in the driveway drinking a beer, messing around with the machete, and so yes, that's how rumors get started. So hey, it's working out in my favor. People are bringing by bottles of booze and paying tribute to me while I'm sitting in my driveway drinking and sharing drinks with me. It's kind of fun, and it's hilarious. But it's getting a little out of control, and I'm going to take it to that next level. I
cannot think of anything more Mickey than that, honest to God. I just were they kissing your ring too? I mean, because that would have been epic.
That's going to get to that point, and I'm going to specifically order some costume jewelry rings so that can happen. Oh, driveway drinking is the best.
Yeah. Did that here too, but we're not going to get into that. Okay.
So, are you in 80s mood? You got the big hair?
Yes. I don't have the big hair. I actually have it up right now, but I'm ready.
I've got some glam rock guy shadow on. Got my spandex pants on, and some sequin boots. If you can picture that.
I can. And I'm not sorry.
Because it's glorious. Okay, this was your idea, so tell me how you came up with the idea real quick, and then let's start with your number 10. I'm real curious about your list.
This actually got spawned while we were getting ready for the last show. We were talking about this in chat before the show started, and we decided to do the whole top 10 videos, and everybody will have a different list of the top 10 videos of all time or whatever. So we had to, I wanted to narrow down to a decade, and I naturally chose the 80s because the birth of MTV was in 81. So I wanted to narrow it to that decade. And then instead of my favorite videos, I wanted to talk about the videos that I felt actually did some breakthrough in society in some way. Something they completely changed the way we saw the videos. They influenced videos to come for the next few years, that kind of thing. So that's how I compiled my list.
I think that's really cool. And I went the same route when you told me that we were going to do this, except for the videos that I chose were not necessarily my favorites, but they either impacted me or I thought that they had impacted society in a way. So, you're going to get a mix of me and society. And then I guess a disclaimer here. Everything I know about the 80s, I lived through every single year of the 80s. They weren't probably as formative for myself as it are for a lot of people. So a lot of the stuff that I went through is going to be experiences that we had with like older siblings, friends, older friends, things like that. So, but I specifically remember a lot of shit from the 80s. And I have a pretty nice list, I think.
Same. So,
okay.
All right. So,
further ado.
Okay, so we'll start with me with my number 10. And I picked for my number 10, NWA's Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, shit. That is a great pick.
It is, isn't it? And the thing with that video, it was different in that it shoved South Central LA in our face. Up to that point, a lot of people did not know the grittiness, the absolute darkness of LA up until then. And they brought it forward. They brought it to us, and it opened up an entire avenue of filmmaking, video making, books, you name it. I mean, it influenced a lot of people. And I think, in my opinion, that was a groundbreaking video for that reason.
I agree. Absolutely. Those songs were fantastic. They were uncomfortable. They pushed us out of our comfort zones. And
totally.
Every time I think of like rap, I always go back to them. Because in my opinion, they were the pioneers. And I could totally just be speaking out of my ass. But from what I had personally witnessed from the 80s, and, a lot of the 80s bled severely into the 90s, too. We didn't stop living the 80s just because 1990 rolled around. But it was always them. They were always the cool dudes. And I think everybody wanted to be them at some point, especially if you were in the hip-hop community.
True. I was not as big of a fan, but I appreciated what they were doing. For me, it was a total wake-up call. You know what I mean? Everybody thought that LA was this glamorous place. It had Hollywood. It had, Ventura Boulevard, Rodeo Drive, all of this, Beverly Hills, all of that was centered on LA, but nobody was ever talking about the dark side of LA. And this just made LA look human to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head.
So, and that's why they're in my list.
So, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle this, but my number 10, are you ready? Are you sitting down for mine?
I'm sitting down and I'm ready.
Come as a complete shock to everybody. I'm going to go to 1989 with If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher. Let me tell you what, when I was about 8 years old, I saw this bullshit and it blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, who is she? Why are my pants tight? What's going on down there? Why is she on this Navy ship and why are these guys going crazy? It was the coolest thing. There was nothing cooler than Cher wearing that outfit that she did on the USS Missouri surrounded by all those sailors. So that was kind of a coming of age moment where I discovered a little bit of sexuality. And then I guarantee you that it led into me joining the United States Navy after I turned 18. Because I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be a sailor so I can get some chicks like that. Cher's If I Could Turn Back Time. It's a cool song. It's definitely an 80s iconic song. But yeah, it was definitely.
But you're right. Her being there with all of the members, all of the crew of the Missouri, that was just, it was quite incredible. I mean, I remember my sisters and I watching that going, whoa, she looks great. Oh my God, that guy is so cute. Seriously.
It was an awesome video. And of course you had the cooperation of the United States Navy, which was no easy feat to acquire. But, Cher she'd been around for a while already and had some clout. So definitely a cool video. She looked hot as hell. And that was my first boner. So on to your number 9.
Okay. Number 9. And this one, it takes me back to my junior year in high school. Van Halen's Jump.
Very nice.
It's a great video, but the reason that that video for me stood out was that at the time, it was the least expensive video ever done. It cost a total of $800 to shoot that video, and yet it raked millions in revenue. And it showed people that you did not have to have all of this glitz and glam and smoke machines and lasers and all this stuff to make a video in order to be noticed and in order to have a good product put forward. So that's why they're not my number 9.
I think that's badass. I'm a huge Van Halen fan. You know, I was absolutely born in the wrong decade. I'm actually currently reading David Lee Roth's biography, Crazy from the Heat, right now. I just got it from Amazon last week in the mail. Super excited about that. Van Halen, fucking badass. I like your number 9.
And I'm definitely team David Lee Roth. Sammy's good, don't get me wrong. But I just enjoy the craziness that is David.
Absolutely. It's not just David Lee Roth. It's almost an entire brand of his persona. Even though, there's a lot of people that hate him for getting really fucked up and not being able to perform at shows.
Right.
I've seen many stories on Twitter about how, back in 99, he was so fucked up, it didn't come out, and we didn't get our refunds. I'm so pissed, I'll never forgive him. The music is awesome. He's an iconic part of growing up in the 80s. You cannot deny David Lee Roth.
No, and it just, even when he did his solo stuff, I mean, women were still throwing themselves after this guy.
He's still probably getting the ass.
Probably.
David Lee Roth, come on, it doesn't stop.
I remember one of my favorite stories. They interviewed him and they asked him how he chose his pants to wear on stage. He's like, well, I buy a pair of pants and then, I choose a pair of pants and then I get them 3 sizes too small and then I have the air sucked out of them. That's how I wear my pants. I'm like, oh my God.
That's how I dress to work.
I don't doubt it.
Fantastic number 9. My number 9, actually, I went with a genre of videos, but I picked like their spokesperson, which is going to be 1986, Fight for Your Right to Party by the Beastie Boys. Now, this entire genre includes, I would say, Cyndi Lauper, Dee Snider with Twisted Sister, and there was another one that I was thinking of. But all of their videos depicted their parents in almost being like a nerds and rejects, and they don't understand what it's like to be a teen, but the rock stars understand what it's like to be a teen because your parents are so stupid and nerdy or authoritarian, like in the Dee Snider's We're Not Going to Take It. So you had this entire genre of these corny little vignettes. Like Cyndi Lauper's, she had a lot of the wrestling superstars from the 80s and hers that were playing.
Yeah, Captain Lou Albano was her dad in that video. So
yep, and she had the Iron Sheik was in The Goonies Are Good Enough.
Yep.
Fantastic, and it was all that same corny acting. Everybody knew it was corny, but it all painted everybody's parents in a light, like, yeah, my parents are total dorks, but the rock stars fucking get me and everything's cool. They were totally catering to that teenage tween demographic.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So my number 9, that entire genre of that, your teen angst, your parents suck, and we're cool.
That's funny because my number 8 was Beastie Boys.
Same song?
Fight for Your Right.
That's my girl. I love it.
And it was for that reason, because it was actually one of the first videos to actually bring about the rebellion and say it's okay to be a rebel. And and it wasn't just them. I mean, Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It. Parents don't understand that one.
Exactly.
With DJ Jazzy Jazz and the Fresh Prince. So
yes,
All of those were starting to say it's okay to be a rebel. You can be a rebel, and yeah, my parents didn't buy it, but whatever.
It totally created a faction of 80s kids, I think, that moved on into their own movement and generation.
Yes, they did, and it's funny because that was I think that came out my junior year. We're not going to take it. And that became the anthem song for that graduating class of 84. And I thought it was kind of in your face to all the teachers. But by then the teachers were like, you know what? They're not my problem anymore. So they were okay.
you know what's funny? That song, my entire high school career in the 90s, we're still playing that. We were still playing that at pep rallies, sporting events, any kind of teacher-oriented thing. We were still playing that all the way up till when I graduated in '99. But it was an anthem. It was an anthem for kids, and that rebellion that it just caused and brought on. So totally. So that was number 8, right?
Yep.
Okay, my number 8. And I'm going to kind of switch gears and grind the clutch a little. I'm going to go to 1984 with You Might Think by the Cars.
Dude, are you reading my list?
Oh, I told you we were going to have stuff. So here's the thing about the Cars in this particular video. First of all, the Cars are classic 80s new wave. If you think of 80s new wave, you think of like Oingo Boingo.
Dead Man's Party.
Absolutely. The Violent Femmes, kind of new wave, but they were still a little darker. They weren't so poppy. But the Cars were probably the new wave guys that were mainstream. You know, there was all kinds of the alternative sorts of the new wave movement, but the Cars were it. The video's very cool. It's very 80s. It's very quirky. It's colorful. It's fun. It's just everything you would think that would be involved in like an 80s video. And it's got that 80s campy feeling to it. Love the song, love the video, and I just really, really pour my heart into that new wave pioneer part because they weren't the cool kids at the time, you know? They really had to work for that, and I think that's cool what they kind of did to form and change music along this timeline that we have here.
I had them at number 4, so I'll explain why when we get there.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So we're on to your number 7.
Number 7, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers with Don't Come Around Here No More.
Oh, shit.
That song changed their sound. And not only that, they actually took a psychedelic story and made it even more so in their video with Alice in Wonderland.
That was such a fantastic video.
It was a really good adaptation because even if you were not familiar with the story of Alice in Wonderland, you could still see the story in that video. Even though they took it in a whole different direction, you could still get the story from it.
It was absolutely awesome. Have you noticed in Tom Petty music videos, he takes on a role in most of them, like going to like Mary Jane's Last Dance. But his acting, for some reason, it just seems so natural in the music videos that he's in. It doesn't seem contrived like a lot of the other rock stars, but Tom Petty just kind of gets into that moment. And, you know, him as the Mad Hatter, he was cool. As that mortician in Mary Jane's Last Dance, he was cool as fuck. I mean, Tom Petty was just cool.
It was, and it was funny because, you know, you see Alice changing into a sheet cake and he starts cutting her up, and I'm going, that is such a great graphic scene right there. Because it encapsulates the entire storyline right there in just a sheet cake. When that video came out and I'm watching that video, I started laughing. And I remember my dad coming in like a few days later and the video was on. And I said, Dad, you've got to watch this video. Don't bother about the song. Just watch the video. As a matter of fact, I muted the TV. Uh-huh. And my dad's just watching it. And I started seeing him starting to laugh. And when he sees the sheet cake and people cutting into it, he's just rolling. There are the tears coming down from his eyes because he thought it was great.
It was fantastic.
Even my dad appreciated that video.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. My number 7 is going to come as no surprise, I'm sure. 1987's Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue.
Oh, yeah. No, not a surprise. Not a surprise.
A surprise. I probably don't even need to go into why I liked it so much as a young adolescent, but the video is absolutely packed with 80s smoke shows. Holy shit. Just one after the other.
Oh, yeah.
And 80s chicks were hot. They had the big hair going, the swimsuits that they wore, the high heels, the emphasis on legs. It was 80s girls. Really, as far as society went, I think were probably some of the hottest chicks of the last, 3 decades, possibly. ZZ Top did a lot of videos that had absolutely beautiful women in them, and they were all
the video legs.
I was going to go with legs, but I had to go girls, 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 because you get to see Motley Crue party it up in a strip club, and who's cooler than Motley fucking Crue? Come on.
Yeah, back then that's true.
Like 3 old dudes with long beards looking at pretty hot chicks. I mean, it's cool you get to see these hot chicks, but you still get that Mall Santa feeling when you're looking at ZZ Top. So, I went with Crue. That's my number 7.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so my number 6 is a little dark.
Okay.
In both literally and whatever. You can say the word, I can't. I've been drinking. Figuratively. There you go. Number 6 for me is The Police, Every Breath You Take.
Oh, the Stalker song.
Exactly. When this stupid video came out, I heard that song and I was like totally freaked out. My sisters thought that it was so romantic, and I'm going, are you even listening to the lyrics right now? This is a person who is obsessed with another person. And I say person because it can go either way. So it could be a guy obsessed with a girl obsessed with a guy, a girl obsessed with a girl, a guy obsessed with a guy. It could be either, it could go either way. But it was a really cool video because it was all about the lighting in that video. It used lighting to highlight and low light the darkness of that song and to make Sting look like a predator. And a lot of people think, oh, he's so hot in there. And I'm going, he scares the living shit out of me in that video. To this day, I don't like that video. But it was groundbreaking because it did have a great use of lighting to emphasize the words in the song.
And you're an art history buff, so who utilized lighting in their paintings almost to an impeccable somebody who was Dutch. Who am I thinking of? But it really affected the entire feeling of the painting, the way that they were able to paint light so realistically that it looked hyper realistic. I want to say Rembrandt, but I think I might be wrong on that.
There were several that did that. And one of my favorites was Francisco Goya, who actually used light in that same manner. And he could actually make a woman look absolutely beautiful and then do the same thing do the same painting and change the lighting and make her look like she was the devil incarnate. So there were several, but I think Rembrandt did that a lot. If you see,
choice.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we can take a break right now.
Take a quick break.
was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
And we are back now with Mickey's number 6 pick of our top 10 80s videos.
Okay, back with number 6. That was a great break. My number 6 is you probably are going to have this on your list. If you don't, I'm going to be super surprised. I'm going to go to 1986 with "Walk Like an Egyptian" by the Bangles. Let me tell you why this is so awesome. First of all, the Bangles were the total alpha ladies of the chick bands of the 80s. They were the chick band of the 80s.
I have to disagree.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. You go on with your bad self, Mickey.
We'll probably agree at some point and then come to a conclusion. But in my opinion, I thought that they were the alpha leaders. Walk from cops to just people on the street. So it was like some tongue-in-cheek shit. But I think that the coolest part about the video was Susanna Hoff's side look. She did that side look when she did that "Walk Like an Egyptian."
Yes.
To the side, and then the other side. Holy shit.
She looks great today.
30 years. Oh, she does look great today. Somebody was actually talking about her on Twitter and claimed that she's probably a vampire because she hasn't aged very much at all. But all of that, because of Susanna Hoff's side look, made that video, and I can look at that like a million times without getting bored of even seeing her stare off to the side. I know my girlfriend's listening right now. Sorry, honey. I super love you. And please forgive me. So that's my number 6, Walk Like an Egyptian.
All right. Well, moving on to number 5. And my number 5 is kind of off the beaten path, even though it has probably one of the quintessential bands, and that was Duran Duran, Save a Prayer. And the reason I picked Save a Prayer over Hungry Like the Wolf and Girls on Film, which, let's face it, Girls on Film, the unrated version is holy cannoli.
we have the explicit the rating.
Yeah.
Holy.
But I picked Save a Prayer because at the time it was the most expensive video ever filmed. They actually talked their producer into doing it in Sri Lanka and hired like half the island to do this video so that it would be like completely perfect and everything. And they spent millions and millions of dollars filming this one 4-minute video. It was fantastical. But basically what they did was they broke that ceiling, saying, if you have the money, if you have the means, if you can get it, do whatever you want with it. I mean, if you want that in your video, so it was, to me, it kind of showed the total opulence of video making in 4 minutes, so
basically showed that your was much more than a budget if you had money, just like you said.
Yeah.
That set a precedence, I think, for a lot of videos to come after that.
It did.
Spectacular music videos
because at the time you could purchase videos on VHS, and this was a 4-minute, 5-minute clip with maybe a 1-minute introduction, and you were paying $10 for this VHS for this movie.
Yeah.
And people were doing it. They were buying it. They didn't want to just wait for MTV to air it. We didn't have TiVo. We didn't have, on demand, or anything like. We didn't have YouTube. So of course they were going to buy it. They were going to plunk down $10, $15 for a video.
Well, look at the money we spent on records and cassettes and CDs growing up, and now everything's digitized. So you're absolutely right.
Yep. So so who was your fifth, number 5?
My number 5, 1989's Free Fallin' by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Nice.
Now, the reason I went with this, it's got a lot of great bright color from the 80s. But, and it's funny because this kind of ties into your number 10. This is how I pictured California in the 80s. Exactly how I pictured like Encino or LA. All of those places where it was just nothing but palm trees and shopping malls, cute girls and cool guys. The video, and they had a lot of mall action. The 80s were really mall oriented, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Too. So I think that the iconic mall action in this particular video really encompassed how I thought that California would look like. And this was probably years before I'd ever actually even seen California. So that's why it's my number 5.
Very cool. Very good pick.
Thank you.
That was an excellent video. Okay, moving on to number 4. As I said, stars, you might think. And the reason that I put it at number 4 was that it was simply for the director, who happened to be Andy Warhol. And I'm not sure if our audience is familiar, but Andy Warhol was a groundbreaking artist in the 60s. He got famous for painting soup cans and Marilyn Monroe.
I had no idea that Andy Warhol directed that video.
Not only did he direct, he also starred in he also starred in several of their videos. He was a big fan of the Cars, and Rick Ocasek, I think, asked him to direct. He wanted to get. He wanted a psychedelic pop artist looking video, and the only person he could think of was Andy Warhol. And at the time, Andy Warhol had kind of like the semi-sequestered life. He wasn't doing a lot of anything, and so he decided to do this video, and it was a huge hit. I mean, this was Andy Warhol's answer to a paintbrush and a canvas. This was Andy Warhol in a video.
This is kind of Andy Warhol kind of reemerging from the Studio 54 cocaine lifestyle that he was accustomed to.
Yes.
For years. And that's really amazing. That's kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes and going in a totally different direction with that same energy. That's so cool.
Yeah. So, and it opened the doors to other artists wanting to do something in that direction, doing their vision in video as opposed to a canvas, or that kind of thing. So it was pretty cool for me. So.
I can't believe that I never knew that before. That is an amazing piece of rock history and art history. That's two worlds colliding right there. That's fucking fantastic.
And your number 4 is?
My number 4 is 1985 with Take On Me by Aha.
Of course, because that's my number 2.
So I'm sure we have a lot of the same reasons. The pioneer of this video and that sketch animation was one. Had the speed racer dude, the chick in the grocery store, being pulled into this magical realm, and just that it was almost like a stop animation with that sketch artistry, and it was so cool. And I think that kind of changed things. With you don't have to necessarily have a music video with people acting and special effects. You can have a music video that's totally animated.
Yep. And I agree. That was a groundbreaking video for those reasons. And more. But, I'll get into that when I get to it.
What is your number 3?
My number 3 is Dire Straits' Money for Nothing.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, sir. Dire Straits' Money for Nothing was a groundbreaking video for obvious reasons. So that's the whole concept of bringing computer animation forward, that was mind-blowing. I mean, sure, it was like 8-bit, but still it was something that you had not seen in a video.
I have to tell you that's my number 1 for the same reason. We were ushering in the computer age. It was going mainstream. It was breaking away from, those nerd dudes that you didn't know anything about to going into popularity. People were getting interested in technology. 80s really kicked off the technology race in gadgets. We started buying calculators. Those were a big thing. The microwave, everything. But yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. The music video, though, was completely computer animated. It was cool. The song is legit. It's fucking awesome. It blazes faces with that intro. Love it. That's my number 1.
Coolness. And your number 3?
My number 3 is Here I Go Again by Whitesnake, 1987. I got one word for you, Tawny.
Tawny Katane on the roof of those on the hoods of the Jaguars, right?
That's it. Yeah, on the Jaguars.
The Jags.
You got for 2.
Well, for 2 it was Take On Me, but it wasn't just because of together. They don't have to look the same, And it was actually it was in
viewing it, but you're absolutely right. Fantastic.
Okay, so we're down to number 1 now.
Was that your number 2?
That was my number 2. Yeah. So you're number 2.
It's 1984, Hot for Teacher, Van Halen.
None of my teachers ever looked like that. I can tell you that right now.
And it's a super fun video. David Lee Roth is such a showman, and all of his videos, it had that Fast Times from Ridge Mountain High feeling to it. The teacher was smoking hot. It was fun. It was just a super fun video, and I can't think the 80s not including that in a list at all. So that's my number 2.
All righty. So now we're down to number 1. And my number 1 is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, shit.
That was, to me, the most groundbreaking video of the 80s, bar none. And some of the reasons why I happen to think that way is that it landed the director of An American Werewolf in London, John Landis, and it was a full film. I mean, this sucker was a film in its entirety. It had, it was incredible the way it was done. And last but not least, Vincent Price.
Oh,
I don't say anything else.
I think your number 1 is absolutely on target. And my number 1's probably number 2. But Thriller, fantastic. It groundbreaking. It really changed a lot of things, and it brought a lot of people together because everybody fucking loved Thriller.
Oh yeah, they did. I still do to this day, and I can. It's fun because during Halloween it's always playing, and I'm doing the whole Vincent Price rap and everything. It's so awesome.
So that concludes our top 10 1980s influential music videos. I think
Wait,
both.
is that number 1?
That was your number 1. I think I agree with it. My number 1 was Dire Straits, Money for Nothing.
That's right.
Would gladly shift that down to number 2. Do we have enough time for 10 minutes to call Nolo?
Well, I think we can certainly try to 5.
Okay, cool. We really went over with our list, which was really fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. We want to talk about a cooking challenge that one of our Twitter friends has issued. I'm going to hear Aggie, kind of weird and complicated, much like everything else in life. So let's just give him a call and see how he's doing, like some Mr. Rogers type shit. All right, we're dialing.
Hey, how's it going?
Nolo's Mickey Blowtorch. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Just looking over some of the replies and trying to count up all the people that are getting in on this.
Right on. You're live on Aggie and I's He Said, She Said podcast. So everybody wants to know what the contest is, and if you could just explain it to everybody and let us know. Show us the light, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, it's hashtag 2410 challenge. So it's a 2 FOR, then 10 challenge. And basically what the whole to make everybody think a little bit harder, give people a little bit to look forward to. And so we came up with a challenge. It was basically 2 people meal, a dinner for 2 people,
okay,
under $10. And we made a couple of little hacks to it though. So basically, spices, oils, and aromatics like onion. Those don't count towards your $10. And if you're gonna go out on a limb and make your own pasta, or your own bread or your own pie dough or something like that, that's not going to count towards it because it's negligible and you're trying, right? So what does go towards it is $10 on proteins and veggies that aren't in what I listed above. And it's really just an honor system. I mean, we're having fun with it. We're really wanting to go off of creativity and just get some people to have some fun right now because, you know, hopefully things are going to get back to normal here real soon. And we can forget about all this, but, you know, just take everybody's mind off of it before we get back. Normal. I was brainstorming with our cooking partner on Twitter about it. And all these rules are pinned at basically my @ so it's on my page. So at NOLO4DOLO, and that's on Twitter at Nola Fidolo. We were just talking back and forth about something that would be fun to do. Just kind of challenge people because we have 2 different friend groups and everybody likes to cook. And, you know, you don't want to put people out by making it expensive. You just want to make it fun for people.
Yeah, totally. And I like what you said about it being like a distraction. And I remember the discussion because I was tagged in and I was a little busy that day and couldn't respond much. But it was basically like a pantry challenge. What could I make out of what I have in my pantry? And then that kind of turned into your $10 idea, which is super cool, dude. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up eating Pac-Man, bologna, macaroni and cheese. So, I mean, you know, we did plenty of $10 meals, and I loved all of them. So there's a lot of nostalgia in it for me that you know, I could make some of my mom's stuff, but it's probably not pretty enough to win, and I don't really even care about that. I just want everybody to have fun with it, and like use your think because it's going to challenge you, you know.
Sure.
It's going to go a long way more.
Are you going to have people include the recipes or just a photo of the aftermath?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've already told them if it was questionable, they need to take a picture of the receipt because if you got a brisket in your entry, you know. So, but I mean, everybody's having fun with it, and everybody's thinking real hard. That's all I really wanted was just to challenge everybody. You know, give it some thought, see what you can do.
Yeah, we got to get out of this mindset. You know, being stuck in the quarantine thing and do creative stuff. So that's what's really cool about that. So I guess you need to submit your recipe and a photo of the food, and they can submit it to you, right? Directly from your Twitter on your pinned tweet?
Do the pinned tweet. I'll keep it pinned until Sunday. So the deadline is Saturday, the 23rd, at 6 p.m. Central Time. And I'm look, if you're an hour before or hour after, that's fine. And I have to, big disclaimer here, you are a judge. So,
a full disclaimer, my girlfriend is going to be the judge. That way we can get a total non-biased outcome. So that's fantastic.
That made the most sense.
I think that dog is super excited about the challenge.
Yeah. I think about 25 people signed up on my side, and I know she's got a bunch of people signed up on her side. So, I mean, you know, we might have 30 or 40 people giving it a shot.
So, $10 food challenge. Go over to Twitter. Look up at Nolo, 4DOLO, NOLO, number 4, DOLO, and tell them that you're in. And then by the deadline, which was Saturday at what time?
6 p.m. Central.
6 p.m. Central. Submit your recipe along with a picture of your meal. And then we will announce the winners probably later on that evening after some drinks and food.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on the show, and I appreciate it. And thank you for your imagination that's kind of giving us this added distraction to this bullshit we're going through. That's cool, man.
Yeah, man. Let's get everybody's mind off of it. Thanks for having me, man.
You bet, bro. You have a good night, man.
You too. Bye.
So there you have it, guys. We're going to do the cooking contest deadlines Saturday. Let's do that if you're interested. Really cool.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
All right. Oh, that's right. You are participating, aren't you, Aggie?
I am participating. I already have my recipe.
I will not be participating in this particular challenge. I've participated in the past. The reason I know Nolo is I'm a bit of a self-taught cook, and that's how I met him. So we're always sharing the stuff that we cook together on Twitter. I'm a big part of the food Twitter, I guess the unofficial food Twitter. So he's a cool guy. It should be a fun time, and the recipes we're gonna get out of it. Come on, who doesn't want a $10 recipe or less?
I know. We should make a book out of it. A cookbook.
That is beautiful.
All right. Well, that concludes our show for this evening. Thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. It has been a ton of fun walking back in this memory lane. Thank you, Mickey, for bringing in Nolo. That was really fun, and I look forward to every single recipe because in this economy, you kind of need those. So.
Absolutely.
Anyway, where can we find you?
You can always find me on the only bit of social media that I will set foot on, and that's Twitter, at Mickey Blowtorch, just being a fucking awesome guy.
This is true. And you can find me also on Twitter at Aggie Rican or at Aggie the Barkeep, depending on whether or not Twitter decides to suspend me again. You can find Mickey here every other Tuesday on He Said, She Said, and you can find me on the other Tuesdays as well on A Pod Divided, as well as on Friday nights for Chick Chat with Lou and Annie Vodka. So thanks so much for tuning in. Huh?
My girlfriend's been listening to your shows, by the way.
Oh my God, I love her. I can't wait to have her on this one.
Our next episode, aren't we doing the interview with her?
Yes.
So
I am so excited. You have no idea.
Tuesday will be our happy hour show. We will get inebriated, and then Aggie will be interviewing my girlfriend to try to figure out why on earth she puts up with bullshit from a guy like me.
I already have a list of questions. And with that, I'm out. Good night, everybody.
Hey.